You have to ask questions. I ask tons and tons of questions to try to find out where they're at, because they're not going to give that information out to someone that they've just met. So you got to build a rapport and take the time to really find out what their motivation is.
If I can just say one more thing, motivation is more important than ability.
If they're motivated, they'll find a way to make it happen. So it doesn't matter whether they have equity or not. Motivation is number one, more important than ability.
And one quick thing here, just ask them simply the question, what will happen if you don't sell the house? You know, that may get to their ultimate motivation.
Again, common theme here amongst you guys is getting to that motivation and figuring it out right away. Good. Martin, what new tool or behavior have you implemented in the past year to help keep your business where it is or increase?
You know, one of the things, everything I do is I want to make my job easier. I don't know if any of you have heard of DocuSign. That is one of the most phenomenal programs. I can now sit there, because it used to be a lot of times if you're running out of time, you got to fax something, then the sellers don't have a printer, and so it takes 2 days to get back, or you got to drive out there. And I have a lot of clients, they live out of town, so it would take, with DocuSign, we actually just scan the sales agreement into this program. It goes on, they can sign it electronically, they don't have to print it, whatever, they can get it back to us within 5 minutes. And then the other thing is that I just got a tablet computer where I can literally, with a PDF annotator, if I get an offer now, I can sit there, I can put that sales agreement into that program, and I can actually make the changes on it. I can write on the computer, and I can send it through DocuSign. So I can be sitting on a bus, driving to the airport, get an offer, I can talk to the seller, I can make all the changes right on there, and boom, zip it off to them in DocuSign, it's in my office in 5 minutes. So those two programs have just been the most, talk about a time saver, and I'll tell you what else it does. The clients are blown away that we're so far ahead of everyone else.
Mr. Old School, anything new in the past year?
Actually, I started using this video email technology, which kind of makes you stand out from the crowd. I send it to a seller before we actually meet, just so they can kind of get an idea of my body language. People, they want to get to know you, they want to know who's coming out. The video email, the way it works is the template's created, they open up their email, the template has links to your website that they can just click on, and the video's right there instead of opening up an actual attachment with the video. So we implemented that, and pretty reasonable. I think it's $100 a month, and that's how it works.
Sue?
Last year, quite a few changes all related to the area of efficiency. When I got to the point where people were giving me 70 or 100 listings every couple of months, you need to become more efficient, especially if you don't have a team. One thing I did is I took the whole closing process, found a title company that would work with my transactions. I told them, I will bring you plenty of business. I want to send you a contract. You notify me when it closes. And if you can imagine the amount of time that takes out of your day. Now, these were done mainly for the cash deals, but they are helping me out with equity sellers too. So taking the whole closing function out of there and letting a title company have total control of that certainly helped me to streamline my business. And then all of that was towards the goal of building a team, which now I have an admin, Karen, who's here. Some of you may have met her there. And also Edward was just hired as my buyer's agent. He's in attendance too. But all of that getting towards efficiency. And then finally, I also travel to visit somebody who sells 500 deals a year, a lot more than my 150. And I think once you network with those types of people, find out what they're doing to be more efficient, you can adopt a lot of their behaviors too. So it's always learning.
For me, I think I've just made more of a conscious efforts to increase my ratios through improving my sales skills and communication skills. I've probably spent more time this year on my sales skills than I've ever spent in a year. And also making more of a conscious effort to surround myself with people that are doing better than me, and thinking bigger and getting outside of the box as much as possible, and picking others' brains that are doing well, and avoiding those that aren't doing well, and not letting them get into my mindset.
You said that a few times today, Jeff. That's obviously a big part of what you're doing. Yeah, comes through. Okay, you four are all with Keller Williams. I know Mark and Sue recently with Keller Williams. The question is, would you still be as successful if you were? Obviously, you two were. But really what we're trying to get at is how much of an effect on your business is the company that you're with playing into your business?
For me, I'd say the number one decision maker is I decided to be with a company that is most in line with the system and program that I use, which is the Mike Ferry system. And Tony DeCello and Diane Kokosko are actually former Mike Ferry coaches. So, and they're in charge of the entire training department for all of Keller Williams. So that was the number one decision maker for me.
Sue?
For me, I definitely needed to build a team. I did not want to go another year with 150 transactions and no team. So Keller Williams was a great decision. I investigated all the other companies prior to my contract being up with Coldwell Banker to see what environment would be best for creating a team, and selected Keller Williams just in June. So been here just a short amount of time, but very pleased.
Is Sue still taking massages this week? No, she's still getting Mark?
So the question is, would we still be as successful if we weren't with Keller Williams? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, what impact or what effect does the company you're with have on your business?
Yeah. You probably want me to answer it and say yes, but I'm going to say I would still be as successful as I am if I wasn't with Keller Williams. But the reason I'm with Keller Williams is because, first of all, we're all independent contractors. The reason I chose Keller Williams, I was with Coldwell Banker my entire career, and I'll never forget, they came into my office and told me that my branding was not going to work. The Z was bigger than the Coldwell Banker on the sign, and they didn't, true story, they didn't like that. And they wanted me to tone it down because they wanted the Coldwell Banker name to be bigger than my brand. And I believe we're in the business of marketing. That's what we are, we're marketers. So it was important to me to be able to market myself and, in retrospect, show my clients that, listen, I can market. Look at how I'm marketing myself, therefore, obviously, I can market your house. So I found a company that gave me the liberty to do as I pleased. I've talked to Gary Keller a couple times. He's all about the agent and whatever the agent needs to do to be successful. That's really his motto. He doesn't micromanage you. He's not worried about the name per se. The name is there as a helper, but he's all about the agent and whatever the agent needs to do to be successful. And so that's why I chose Keller Williams. And then the most important reason, obviously, was the money. All BS aside, 70-30 split, cap on franchise fee. When you start making some decent money, it's important to be capped on the franchise fee because that adds up over the years. It's actually huge. It's probably bigger than the split itself. But a 70-30 split, literally you pay the company $21,000 a year and you're done. That's it. Every other company had fine print and little things here and there, and I just wanted something cut and dry, and that was it.
Martin?
I think the biggest thing is Keller Williams truly understands that we're business people, and they allow us to be business people. Like I said, but they understand that we're the business, so we can brand ourselves, create our own business within the business. And the other thing is, there is no more powerful mentor than Gary Keller, and that's why I say go to the masterminds, and especially if you qualify for the higher levels. I mean, I meet with Gary Keller. There's about 15 of us twice a year, and there's not a smarter brain in this business than Gary Keller. To have him as a mentor, and he truly cares what we're doing in our business. He'll sit down, Martin, what are you doing? Or Gary, what are you doing? He wants to know so that he can then turn around and share that with the rest of the company.
Okay, good, thanks. Before we go to some questions from the audience, I'll walk around and give you my lapel because the other one's not working. But before we go, we do that. If you guys would just go down the line, leave these folks, leave us with one thought. Maybe a word of encouragement. What is it that you want us to walk away from this time together thinking about?
The most important thing is set your goal for what you want to earn, and then work backwards and figure out what you have to do every single day to accomplish that goal. I mean, there's no simpler way to be successful in this business. I think most of us don't know what we have to do every single day. But in the millionaire real estate agent has got or a shift, it's got all, if you don't know what your conversion ratios are, your numbers are, there are standard numbers, like 20 phone calls gets an appointment, whatever. Use those numbers and then focus on doing that every single day.
The average agent, according to NAR, sells 8 houses a year. So if you can't figure out a way to be different, you're going to be like everybody else. That's the bottom line. If you can't relate to a buyer or seller why you're different, you don't stand a chance. When you're talking to a buyer, if all you can do is turn a key, I'm sorry, that's not going to cut it. They're going to find somebody else along the way. There's got to be something that makes you different. When you're talking to a seller, if you can't relate to them why you're different, why you're going to get them more money, why you're going to sell their house in a shorter amount of time, honestly, how do you stand a chance? You better hope one of us aren't competing against you. And there's ways to compete against the guys that sell a lot of homes, guys or girls. There's ways to compete against us. There's a lot of negatives to my business. So you got to find a way that you can stand out from the crowd and not be like the average agent that sells 8 houses a year.
I would say treat your business like a business and be involved in income-producing activities for your business day. I can't tell you how many time wasters that you can just see around the office, and anything that's not helping you to put $1 in your pocket is just wasted time. So treat it seriously, treat it like a business.
I think I've said this or something similar to this, but it's a very important point. At the end of the day, accept the fact that you are a salesperson and get good with your skills, and the business is yours.
Great, excellent. Does anybody have any questions for our panel?
I know environment has a lot to do with being successful, so I'd like to hear, at least from the panel, what do you do to make sure you're in that productive environment, surround yourself? I mean, what are some of the things you do to take yourself out of negativity? Out of negative agents, or I mean, do you section yourself off? I know you have a mega office, Jeff has a mega office, Mark, I'm not sure.
You know, for us, obviously, Dylan, you're in our office, so we don't condone any negativity, and that's one of the reasons why we're in a separate office, because at the end of the day, we know that goes on in real estate offices. And the second I get word that it's going on in our office, it's addressed right away, and somebody's either asked to stop or asked to leave. So controlling the environment is very important, and unfortunately, most of us who are in real estate offices, or were at real estate offices at one point, you've got those distractions going on around you. You've got to shut your door and do what you do. That would be my answer to it.
And I would treat it pretty much the same way. You have to find a place where you can work, and if there are people who come up who do want to invade your time, politely excuse yourself. I have an offer coming in, or I have phone calls to make. You need to be in control of your time and not let other people control that.
I'd say one thing, even when I was, because I tend to be social, when you're in an office environment, when you're focused, people won't like you. And you have to accept that. I mean, seriously, and I had to finally realize when I was in a bigger office capacity, people would come and say, no, no. And you have to be fine with that.
I guess you really got to believe that this is a great market, first of all. There's a lot of great things about this market. I mean, interest rates right now, 30-year fixed at 4.375. You've got to find all the positives. Sure, people are selling for less, but they're buying for a lot less, so it's a wash. If home prices were to double tomorrow, the house that they're going to go buy would double tomorrow. So it's really a wash. You got to find the people that can work with you, and really cut out the socializing. I mean, most offices socialize too much, quite frankly. It's a business. I mean, what other business, if you were employed by a major corporation, would they allow you to all sit around and talk and have donuts and sit in the hallway and talk about how terrible business is for 2 hours? It wouldn't happen. So treat it like a business.
Okay, we'll be out of time here in a minute, so we'll go one more question. If you have questions, approach the panel members afterwards. I'm sure you guys will hang out and continue to give. So we'll do one more question to get to the drum.
Okay, my question is, I know I might even have the answer, but when do you get your script? Is for calling on the phone. Say for instance, you're getting a call.
The question, where do you get your scripts? Okay. if you're a part of Keller Williams, they're in all the Keller Williams training modules. And if you're not, you could speak to any Keller Williams team leader or agent. I'd be glad to share.